The public count here today had a great day, right? Up $24,000 plus in the public count here today, and that's with the Dow, S&P 500, and the Nasdaq all being down. And yet we had a $24,000 gain here today, right? And this for some very specific reasons. You know, you look at a stock like Meta, this stock continues to soar. It's our biggest position in the public count, right? Up another $6,000 here today. The best part of Meta, and this is important for anybody that's interested in the stock or trying to, study it more. Here's just an interesting perspective, or owns the stock. We haven't even gotten to the good part of Meta yet. All we've gotten to so far is like all the job cuts and what that's going to do to the profitability, and the margins are going to expand rapidly, and the EPS is going to go up like a rocket ship over the next several quarters. But we haven't even actually gotten to the good numbers yet. Okay, keep in mind political season's coming, which means there's no one that really benefits bigger from political season than Meta. Which, going into the next election, obviously we're going to have primaries coming up. Then we got the big dog election. Guess who makes more money than anybody from that? Meta does, okay? Political season is going to be a big boom. Quest 3, I think, is going to be by far the biggest physical product launch Meta's ever had by a mile. You got IG check marks, which is starting to become a big recurring revenue stream. That's a brand new business that they don't even have to comp against year over year. That's getting rolling here. That's very exciting, right? The ad market's getting a much healthier market than it was at, let's say, this time last year. So that's good. That's going to mean ad rates are going to start going up quite a bit for Meta overall. IG Reels ads are going to start kicking in, where that's just been a money suck for the company to now it's going to be a money generator. And WhatsApp monetization is just early days. So, I mean, there's so many growth vectors, and there's more than this, that are just, going on for this company over the next 12 to 18 months that are insane for this company. So they're in a very, very good spot. You look at a stock like Tesla, right? Up another $23,000 here today. And keep in mind, this is during a period of bad consumer confidence, which consumer confidence is everything when somebody goes to buy a home or goes to buy a car, right? And so you look at Michigan consumer sentiment, that they've been doing that for, since probably my parents were born, honestly, right? And you look at something like this is the past 25 years, this is the lowest point we've ever been in the history of that consumer sentiment. You could back it up to max. This is the lowest point we ever were in history. For the past year, consumer sentiment has been a horrible place. Now imagine what's going to happen to somebody like Tesla if, dare I say, consumer sentiment gets in a better place. What's that going to mean for their business model when consumers are actually confident in the state of the economy again, when they're confident in what the future inflation rates are going to be? What do you think that's going to mean for a company like Tesla? It's going to be a massive, massive boom for a company like Tesla, right? I'm only up 999% now on Tesla. It's devastating, man. It's absolutely devastating. And Palantir, oh my gosh, man. Palantir only up 67%. No, in all seriousness, okay, we need a pullback. We need to pull back. These stocks have been running ridiculous. Tesla's up, 120-something%, I believe, this year. Palantir has been up in a straight line. I believe Palantir's up 100+% this year. The stocks have been soaring, okay? We need a pullback. This is healthy. This is what we need in these sorts of stocks. You don't just go up every single day. At some point in time, you need to take breathers. You need to have everybody reset their cases. You need to have the bulls be kept at bay a little bit and then try to figure out, okay, are we going down from here? You need to have a lot of the traders jump ship, go somewhere else. You need to have a lot of the bears step in and say, oh, Tesla's starting to see some weakness here. Maybe it's time to play some puts. Maybe it's time to short sell. You need to have some bear traps to be set. You need to have this sort of stuff, okay? Palantir, this is the one I really hope goes down in the short term here, because honestly, I'm not done building out my Palantir position, but the stock's been running up in a straight line, and it's like, can we come down a little bit, baby? Can we take a little breather here? Can we just relax for a moment in time? That would be nice. And so my hope is Palantir has a few more of these days, because ultimately, if I'm going to continue to buy Palantir shares, I want the shares for as cheap as possible. I'd much rather pay $10 a share for Palantir or $12 a share than pay $17 a share for Palantir, right? It's simple math. I'm going to be able to afford a lot more shares. So whenever you're buying a stock, you should hope in the short term it goes down. As a long-term investor, that's what I always hope. And so with Palantir, am I satisfied with the amount of shares I have? No. I'd love to have 10,000 shares of Palantir. 10,000 shares and I'm good. 10,000 shares of Palantir between my different accounts and I feel good. I'm not even close to being there right now. So which means I want to continue to buy Palantir, but, please take a breather, baby. As all longs out there, you should be rooting for this right now, okay? And, I put out this in regards to the market, where I see things going, where I hope things go, and whatnot. We want to spend a moment talking about this. I posted this inside the private stock group last week, okay? And I said, this is my make-a-wish for the rest of the year in the market. Next 60 to 90 days, the indexes sell off 10 to 15%, with the Dow getting hit the hardest. I flip out of my SDow January 2024 calls and move those into hedges for next year, right? Which I'm already starting to consider, like, what are my hedges going to be for 2024, right? Which, if you're new to the market and you're like, what the heck's a hedge? It's basically just, I call it insurance, okay? Insurance in case of the market crashes or a bunch of stocks go down. There's a really rough market. It's basically kind of the way I think about it. Insurance that hopefully you don't have to use, and hopefully it expires worthless, but if things don't quite go your way, it's there to save your butt. No different than car insurance or homeowners insurance or any of those sorts of things, right? Health insurance. You hope to not have to use it, but someday you might have to use it. And then when that day comes, you're glad you have it, right? That drop also gives some bigger discounts in stocks that I would love for buying. It would also make for a more healthy feeling around the market. Absolutely, because the way the market's been performing has given a very unhealthy feeling. People feel uncomfortable. The market's been moving up so fast. That's a cool bird. And everybody's like, oh man, this market's moving up so fast, I can't get into these positions. The bears are even starting to give up. We need the bears to come back a little bit and feel like, oh, they could take back control of the market. We need a more healthy market than right now. Right now, people feel uneasy because the indexes have been ramping so quickly. A nice pullback would make people feel a lot better about this market, to be honest. And by the way, a 10 to 15% drop, it's not a crash. If we're talking about a crash in the market, that was 2022. Okay, when the NASDAQ fell, I think it was 37% in a matter of a 9-month span or so, 9 or 10 months. Like, that's a real crash. 10 to 15%, I call that a nice size pullback. Okay, that's what I'm hoping for in this situation. Hard to get the market to fall 10% plus from here. We would need either a recession talk to get amped up, or people would have to take the Fed serious in keeping that they're thinking about continuing to raise rates here. Okay, and so that's my hope in regards to this. That's my hope, folks. And I think it's tough to get the market down 10 to 15%. I think 5 to 10% is a lot easier than 10 to 15%. But you never know. If you could have some panic kind of creep in, if you can have some interesting stuff start to happen in the options market, that's kind of bearish signals and whatnot, and maybe some technicals break down, okay. Stocks futures are flat after a 3-day losing streak. So now they're calling it a 3-day losing streak. And I say, keep it going, baby. Keep it going. I don't want this to end anytime soon. I would like this to keep going for a bit here. And, anybody that's a long-term investor, you should honestly want this. You see the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? And this is year to date for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is getting beat substantially by inflation this year. Now, this is a disaster, folks. This goes to show you the risk of being caught into the belief that the indexes are your savior, okay? The indexes are going to save me. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is getting wrecked by inflation. Not even the other indexes, just by inflation alone, right? And that's substantial, because if you are investing and you can't even keep up with the rate of inflation, you have no chance in this game. If you are losing to inflation, you have no chance. Zero, okay? Like, at that point, it's a no-go. Now, to show you the math around this and how impactful this is and how I think wrong people have been taught in this whole game, okay? The median household income is around $70,000-ish, okay? Let's do a little math on this, okay? So, let's say your household income is $70,000. You're going to have to probably give up $20,000 of that or so to taxes, right? You got federal tax, you might have state tax if you live in a place you got state tax. You got a million other taxes out there. So at least $20,000 of that $70,000 is likely going to have to go to taxes, right? So now you got $50,000. Well, you're going to need just to live $40,000, okay? Especially if you're, a household, maybe you've got a kid or two, or, a significant other, like housing, cars, insurance, all the different insurance you need, health insurance, car insurance, home insurance, renter's insurance, oh my gosh. Your phone, your internet, all this different stuff. Like, you're easy spending $40,000 a year on just living, okay? So that means maybe you're lucky to have $10,000 at the end of the pie. Now, here's where things get downright scary, okay? Downright scary. So, you kind of taught, you're brought up and you're saying, hey, if you get 7-8% a year, you're going to be fine. You're going to be looking good, right? Yeah, that's what the S&P 500 goes up. Yeah, index funds. Oh, yeah, they're so amazing. Oh, my gosh, okay? Do a little math on this. $10,000 a year, okay? So that's your initial investment. Then you do about $825, which is about $10,000 a year, right? And you do that over a 25-year span, you get your 7.5% per year, okay, what do you have at the end of the pie? You have $733,000 in 25 years from now. In 25 years from now, okay? Now, keep in mind, in 25 years from now, I think 733,000 will really be like, in today's dollars, like $400 to maybe $475,000, okay? A very small number. So this is not getting you to the promised land or anywhere even remotely close to it. This is not getting you to early retirement. This isn't even getting you to a decent retirement. And do you know how expensive things are going to be in 25 years from now? Do you know how expensive healthcare is going to be 25 years from now? They thought healthcare was expensive 25 years ago. And now we look at healthcare and we're like, geez, we wish it was the prices it was 25 years ago. Holy smokers, that's no jokers, right? So when you look at it from this context, you realize these indexes are not the savior. They're actually massive risk. Never mind when you got extremely experienced investors like Stanley Druckenmiller, right? Who's saying we could have a situation where the indexes go nowhere for a decade. When gentlemen like that are as experienced and as successful in the financial markets as you can possibly be, say things like that, people need to wake up and realize the risks. The risk of being just caught into a thought process of the indexes are enough. If I just put money in an index fund, it's gonna take me wherever I want to be taken to. Okay? No, it's not. You're gonna fail hard. And the worst part is you're not gonna realize you failed hard until it's far too late. That's the scariest part of this whole game, okay?